All right, ladies and gentlemen, Fabs in the house. And today I've got the Spyderco Caribbean here with me. And as usual, we're going to analyze the look, the sound, and the feel of this guy. But first of all, let's just do a quick size comparison. This is up against the Sebenza, large Sebenza 21. And this is up against the small Sebenza 21. Let's see, we have Spyderco PM2 right over here, so pretty comparable handle size, but look at the cutting edge. Also we have Para 3 over here, so you can see, this is not a small knife. And another couple of popular options. This is the Skaha number 2, and this is up against Benchmade Osborne 940-1. So there you have it. Let's check out the look of this guy, because this is a very interesting knife. This is part of the Salt Knives series from Spyderco. It's made in the factory of Taichung in Taiwan, and has pretty cool rounded lines overall. It's eye-catching for sure. The vibrant colors, this yellow, it's pretty bright, and the black, it's giving like a pretty nice contrast. This is resembling kind of like a bee, or maybe like an eye, like that. It's very, very interesting. Overall length is 8.54 inches, and when closed is 4.84. The scales are made out of G10, and they have these pretty cool ridges going on, the black ones, and they're gonna give a pretty interesting grip to it. Also, you can see on the inside there is stainless steel liners which have been skeletonized with rounded holes in order to, accommodate the G10 scales. This is an overall rust-proof knife, because every part is rust-proof. So you can easily use this at the beach, in the kitchen, in salty environment, in really wet environment, without even worrying about that. So very, very interesting choice. You have, a nice Spydie hole over here, which has been chamfered nicely, so it's not gonna create any, sore into your fingertip. And also you can see like the scales have been pretty nicely rounded off, so chamfering is going on all around, not really in the inside, but there's nothing sharp going on in the inside. There is just a little bit of jimping up top over here, and a nice lanyard hole which is going through the pocket clip over here. And this is an overall nice knife, well built. It's a compression lock right over here, and it has a pretty good relief cut for your thumb, to go in and just unlock release the lock like that. So it's quite easy to operate. The screw size are a T8, so very, very simple disassembly, pretty straightforward. You're just gonna need one bit to take this guy apart. Which is done also because if you are in salty, wet environment, you're gonna want to take this apart and lube it up and clean it up. The hardware is not protruding. It's stainless steel, of course, and it's overall well put together. I mean, even the clip, I'm not a fan of the flat clips like this, but this is in titanium, so rust proof, and also has a nice sandblast to it, so the finish is pretty good. And also it has a very nice and springy tension, and you can see that the clip ramp over here is lower than the actual clip relief over here, so that's a pretty interesting detail. This is of course reversible. It's tip-up only, but you can mount it on this side to make it, not really fully ambidextrous, but you can just reverse it. So very, very interesting. The blade length is 3.7 inches long, and the material is LC200N, which you can see right over here, which is a highly rust-resistant steel employed in kitchen knives and in all these environments where the blade is gonna be wet most of the time. This is a pretty cool slicer, guys, because stock thickness is not the thinnest, but it's pretty thin. And with the full flat grind, this is gonna slice like crazy. I'm a good fan. I'm a fan of the ship's foot design, and also like combined with this directional satin finish. I think it gives it a pretty good look. Also, you can see the grind symmetry is pretty symmetrical, like in both sides. And the edge profile, it's just a straight belly up to here, but you see there's no sharpening choil. And, the plunge grind right over here is just like a straight line right next to the hole. And it's interesting, it's done like to keep in mind slicing purposes. There's no jimping going on. As you can see, it's just a little thumb ramp with a little bit of jimping over here, but not like up top here. So there's not really a chance to choke it up. You have a little bit of not really crowning, but it's chamfering up top over here, and just the Spidey hole with this, of course, like classic Spyderco billboarding with the logo, the steel, the location, and another logo right over there. So the sound this guy makes, it's like this. So this is a pretty good thump. Like, it's not loud, but it's deep. It's like it's resounding inside of the skates. I don't know what is going on, but the sound is very, very deep and interesting. So very, very interesting. Also, when you close the knife, that's the sound it makes. It's almost inaudible, and it's a mellow thud and pretty muffled overall. Like, you barely can hear this one. But when you open it, it's a nice clack. I like it. The weight of this guy is 4.2 ounces. There are really no hot spots when you grip when you hold and squeeze the handle, because it's the shape, these nice finger grooves here are pretty well contoured to allocate your hand. So very, very nice. I appreciate the grip actually a lot. The thumb ramp with this jimping, it's beautiful. It just feels great in your hand. There are not really any sharp edges, and you can also do like a pretty cool reverse grip like this, and you see you have a nice space for your thumb to rest at the back, at the heel of the handle. Overall, this knife feels quite solid because the liners are full liners. They go up to the end and up to here, so they're not just partial, so they give like this pretty good strength to the knife. Also, these two standoffs are conferring some more rigidity to the overall structure. The texture is grippy, feels like very, very grippy with these ridges, in your hand. If the handle would be wet or oily, it would be much more grippier than just a smooth finish. So I don't see really gaps or any like flaws. The blade is centered. I mean, it's well put together, guys, this knife. Even the clip is not like the most attractive of the clips out there, but it's absolutely functional, and it's just gonna do its job like in a perfect way. Deployment speed, it's fast, guys. This is it's running on washers, but it's fast, it's smooth, and there's no finger sore, coming from deploying the blade, because it has been chamfered this hole. It's like pretty nicely rounded off, so very, very good. Also, the detent strength is, I think it's just perfect. It's maybe I would say a little bit on the light side, but it's beautiful. Like I think it's perfectly dialed in for this kind of action. Not this one, but this one. So very, very interesting. Also, you can't really touch the tip of the blade right over here because it's pretty nicely buried down. And if you shake the knife, there's no rattling sound, so everything is well put together. The lock release, it's like pretty easy to access. Right over here, there's this notch. You just jam your finger in, you release the lock like that, and boom, and the blade just closes. There's no lock stick in this one. There's no detent ball ramp, and that's why you're gonna have this hard step over here, but it's not hard to overcome whatsoever. If you unlock, if you release the lock, there's no free falling, there's no guillotine effect because it's running on washers, and this is like a new, it's just brand new, so probably maybe a little bit more wear in. It's gonna give a little bit more guillotine effect, but I'm not expecting that much. Also, you have almost like zero detent suction, like when you close the knife, but overall, I mean, this is a very interesting knife. This is going to be very good at the beach, in the kitchen, and you know, if you need to use a rust-proof knife, this is the guy to go. Also, ergonomic are very, very interesting, very, very well done. So there you have it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned.